unapologetic black space.
A testimony to the power of education.
These professors were on a mission to ensure a vibrant black future.
Slavery was more brutal than we can imagine. Brutality went with the system.
But there's another type of brutality that took place during slavery, and that was the brutality of ignorance. Keeping intellectual thought, keeping learning, keeping reading, knowledge from slaves.
A slaveholder could do virtually anything to his slave. He could work his slave to death. He could rape his slave. He could sell his slave. It's my property, the argument was, so I can do whatever I want to with my property, except one thing I can't do to my property. I can't teach my property. I can't teach my slave how to read or write. An educated black population could not be an enslaved black population.
Colleges were educating future doctors and future lawyers and future teachers and nurses and judges. And they were responsible for lifting African Americans out of poverty. And they started to create the black middle class as we know it.
For a black child, every teacher that you knew had gone to a black college. Every lawyer that you knew had gone to a black college. Every medical doctor that treated you had gone to a black college.
The game changer in the 20th century was Brown versus Board of Education. It took lawyers, not at an elite school, but at a law school that was put together by spit and glue and hard work, that would be the space that would create a legal revolution that all Americans now benefit from.
We're going to keep talking, or are we going to take action? If not us, who? Nobody was doing anything. There was no protest. We decided we sit in.
We came into this store and sat in at the lunch counter, which was not customary or accepted for African Americans at the time.
The New York Times had this story on 4 students who had actually sat in at a Woolworth store, and that was absolutely earth-shaking. Every one of us knew full well that they were either the bravest people in the world or the craziest people in the world.
We sat for pretty close to 2 hours. We started out the first day with 4, the second day, 16, the third day, 24, then 64, and then the Saturday occurred. We had pretty close to 1,000 students.
It was being replicated throughout the South, and largely among black college students. A revolution had actually begun.
The targets of the students were the lunch counters at the city's 2 largest department stores and 4 variety stores. And for the first time, the community was confronted with Negroes in places where they had never been.
And I'm super bad. If you come here, you will find something you won't find anyplace else.